We start with Invincible and his father flying through the sky. Today, they're tossing a ball back and forth while Nolan fills his son in on everything he went through in that other dimension. But that's not really what Nolan wants to talk about. When the invaders from the other dimension captured them, Mark screamed at the top of his lungs, "Dad!" Invincible hadn't even noticed and asks if it was serious. Omni-Man tells him it could have been very serious. Darkwing, one of the members of the Guardians of the Globe, mentioned he heard about it on the news. Sure, it was all eyewitness accounts with nothing on tape, but Invincible has already shown up on the news multiple times and people know his name. One of these days, he's going to run into a villain who decides to go after Omni-Man to get to him. Mark's answer to that? He'll be ready when that day comes. Then Nolan reminds his son that he promised to meet up with his best friend William, and it's almost time. So both of them fly quickly toward the house, zipping right past Mark's mother, who shouts at them that the rule in this house is no flying inside. A few moments later, William arrives, and Mark is already ready. The two of them head out to tour some universities. They promise to be back soon, but once the boys leave, Nolan tells his wife they finally have the place to themselves. She suggests they go somewhere, but Omni-Man says no, not today. They have the whole day free, and they're going to make the most of every minute of it. On the other side of the city, at the Teen Team's base, Robot is telling his teammates that the moment has come. The Guardians of the Globe want to put him through a trial run. Chances are he's going to join them. This is a big change for the team. They might be on their own from here on out. And there's a second piece of news Robot wants to share. Given the circumstances, he's going to disband the teen team. He can't be on both teams at once, and in a few years, the name won't even make sense anymore since they'll all have grown up. They can keep using the facilities, and he'll always help whenever he can. His teammates are supportive and tell him they're going to miss him a lot. In a mansion, a butler brings his employer the phone. He's been on the line with someone to find out if the suit he commissioned is ready. The person making the suit says he's going to need 2 more days for safety testing. But 2 days is too long. He can't wait that long. He was just expelled from the Guardians of the Globe. He's nothing without his powers. He needs the armor. He needs his life back. 2 days is an eternity for him. Even so, the person on the other end won't budge. He needs those testing days. And this hero is going to have to wait. Meanwhile, the boys have arrived at the university. They walk through the crowd trying to find the admissions office. As Mark and William make their way around campus, William wonders why the girls at their school can't be this good looking. The two of them eventually find Mrs. Thatcher. She'll be leading their campus tour. She assures them that once they enroll, they'll have access to a first-class education and the best facilities around. On the other side of the world, in England, a man is walking his dog when a bag suddenly drops out of the sky. He's stunned. When he goes to check it out, he finds a Burger Mart wrapper inside. Back on campus, the boys continue their tour, and this time they meet David, Mrs. Thatcher's assistant. He's going to take over from here. Just like Mrs. Thatcher, he goes on about how the university has top-of-the-line facilities. Throughout the whole tour, both Mrs. Thatcher and David kept trying to call William Bill. They seem to think he doesn't like his own name, but he does like being called William, and this keeps getting on his nerves. Mark tells him he's making a mountain out of a molehill, but William finds it genuinely irritating that every time he corrects people, they act like he's the rude one. That's why most people think he's some stuck-up jerk who's obsessed with his own name. That's just what he has to deal with every single day. Then we head back to Mark's house. Nolan and his wife have just finished their marital routine, but Omni-Man is ready for round 2, so at super speed, he carries her off to the bedroom. And then we're back with Mark and William. This time, they've run into Rick Sheridan. He's in charge of showing them the dorm where they'll be living. Rick asks William if he can call him Bill, which pushes William's buttons even more. Hours later, the two friends are walking across campus. After seeing everything the university has to offer, Mark thinks this is going to work out great for him. It's close to home, it's not too expensive, and it'll keep him out of trouble. William feels the same way, so they're both signing up together and they're going to be roommates. Then, out of nowhere, while the two of them are sitting down, Mark feels something strange. Suddenly, the wall behind him explodes. A cyborg appears to be attacking them, but that's not it at all. Mark tries to get his friend out of harm's way, but the cyborg ignores them completely and keeps moving forward. A university security guard tries to stop him and is quickly thrown aside. By then, Mark has already put on his suit and Invincible enters the scene. He tells the cyborg to stop, but no matter how hard he tries to attack from behind, the villain shakes him off like it's nothing. This villain walks straight ahead, doesn't even bother going around people. Invincible gets in front of him and tells him to watch it, but then the cyborg does something no one saw coming. He throws himself onto a spike and dies. Everyone is shaken, but Mark figures he never really wanted to hurt anyone. He was just trying to get somewhere, and people kept getting in his way. The security guard was injured and an ambulance arrives quickly, but everything is under control, so Invincible takes off and Mark Grayson slips back in. He tries to act like nothing happened and everything is fine, but when he walks up to William, his friend looks at him and asks why he never told him he had superpowers. Hours later, both boys are back at Mark's house. William tells his friend he'll keep the secret. Inside the house, Nolan has been busy with his wife when he hears the car pulling up. At top speed, he gets himself dressed and gets her dressed too. When Mark walks in, he immediately notices his mom's shirt is on inside out and decides he doesn't want to know what they were up to. He's seen enough. He's heading to his room. Deborah smacks her husband and tells him next time to put her clothes on right. She goes off to change while Nolan's phone rings. Later, both Invincible and Omni-Man are with the man who designs their suits. He had been working on a suit of armor to replace Black Samson's powers. Samson lost his abilities and the Guardians kicked him out. Still, he wanted back in, so he hired the suit maker to build him the armor. But now the armor is gone and he never saw who took it. Omni-Man thinks the suit maker is hinting at something. Most likely Samson stole the armor himself. He was desperate without his powers, and that desperation may have pushed him over the edge. Still, he can't say that for certain. What he can say for certain is that someone broke in and took the armor, and the power that suit provides is enough to level an entire city. Meanwhile, at the Teen Team's base, Eve has come by to see if anyone is around. But when she walks in and sees what's going on inside, she can't believe it. She can't believe this is happening. Some time has passed. Invincible has been working as a superhero for a while now, from early morning all the way to the middle of the night. So Saturdays are perfect for catching up on sleep. In Mark's case, he needs to catch up on a lot more hours than most. A lot more hours. We travel to Midnight City. It's 9 in the morning. This is a city that's been nearly abandoned. A long time ago, the Mage Midnight had his moment of triumph, and since then, there's no day and no night. The city is always dark. Most of the people who stayed are those who are too attached to leave, and the other big chunk is made up of people who are here to loot it, like these two criminals right now. But there's someone watching over this city. Darkwing, the hero of the night, drops down on the villains and catches them completely off guard. He takes them down fast. When the job is done, an emergency call from the Guardians of the Globe comes through. Darkwing has to return to base immediately. The hero of the night summons his wing jet and takes off. Meanwhile, in Moscow, a red blur races through the streets, handling every problem and rounding up every criminal in sight. This hero is Red Rush, and every time his girlfriend pauses to say something, he takes the opportunity to run off and save the world. But this picnic they're having is going to have to wait because he gets the same call from the Guardians of the Globe. On the other side of the world in Boston, War Woman wakes up. Her partner has made breakfast for her. And just when she thought this morning was going to be peaceful, a massive villain crashes in on them. The villain was sent by her mother. Ever since she left home, her mother has been worried, but no one ruins War Woman's breakfast. After getting her suit on, the fight begins. She's not about to go back to her hometown without a fight. Once she deals with the villain and gets her partner to safety, she gets the same call as the others. Then we dive to the bottom of the oceans in Atlantis. Aquarius, who had been resting, receives the call too. The hero is thrilled because he's finally getting some action. And from the depths of the ocean, we travel to the depths of space. Martian Man and Green Ghost are facing off against a creature that wants to wipe out all organic life. But the two heroes work well together and destroy it. They've had a rough time of it because Green Ghost has only been a hero for a month. She's still getting used to her powers. The heroes take their human forms and immediately get the emergency call. They transform back into Martian Man and Green Ghost and fly hard through space toward Earth. High above Denver, one of Earth's most powerful heroes is taking on one of his villains. The Immortal faces off against Biplane. The villain has cancer because his machine runs on uranium, and since he only has a month left to live, he's going out with a bang. But before he can self-destruct, the Immortal stops him. Once the villain is dealt with, he gets the alert too. He needs to get back to base. The Immortal flies at full speed and reaches the Guardians of the Globe's base in minutes. When he walks in and finds his teammates, he asks what the big emergency is. But this is where things start getting strange, because none of them know who actually triggered the alarms. Darkwing starts getting suspicious. And then, one by one, the heroes are destroyed, torn apart, and beheaded. The Immortal can only stand there and watch as his teammates die. He shouts at whoever is responsible to come out, that whatever trick they use to take down the others by surprise won't work on him. And then the attacker steps forward. When the Immortal sees who it is, he says that yes, he never trusted him. And just as fast as the others fell, the Immortal is decapitated too. And now we can finally see, standing in a pool of blood, that Omni-Man is the traitor of the Guardians of the Globe. Not long after, investigators arrive at Nolan's house to find out if he knows what happened to his teammates. He can't believe they're all dead. The investigator wants to know everything Nolan knows about Black Samson. He tells them that a close friend had been developing armor for him, but it was stolen. The investigator asks if he thinks Samson could have done something like this, but Nolan doesn't buy it. When Samson had his powers, he was strong enough to take on the Guardians by himself. If he was the one who stole the armor but hadn't fully recovered his powers, there's no way he could have wiped them all out. Still, the investigator considers Samson the prime suspect. While Nolan talks to the investigator, Invincible arrives home and heads to his room. Inside, he finds Eve. Mark has no idea what's going on or how she got here, but through tears, she tells him that the night before she saw Rex with Duplicate, and she was using her powers to make more than one of herself. Mark doesn't understand what she means, so she spells it out. Rex cheated on her. She found out 2 days ago when she went to the base. She saw them out in the open. Thankfully, they didn't notice she was there. All Mark can do is tell Eve that it's going to be okay and that Rex has always seemed like a jerk to him. And then Mark's mom walks into his room. Deborah is furious because she doesn't think her son should have a girl in his room. She orders both of them downstairs to the living room. Even though Mark insists they're just friends and nothing was going on, she keeps at it, telling him he's not old enough to be hiding girls in his room. She thought she raised him better than this, so now the two of them are going to sit down and listen to what she has to say. And the talk begins. Deborah tells them she understands they've reached that age, but she needs to make sure they know there are consequences for their actions. Invincible cuts his mother off, assuring her they're just friends. Then Nolan walks in. He tells everyone that there's a funeral tomorrow. The Guardians of the Globe are dead. The next morning at Mark's school, William walks up to him. They both have a physics exam, and it's looking like neither one of them is ready. William suggests Mark do what he did with the previous teacher, make him blow up into pieces. Mark gets a little annoyed and asks him to keep his voice down. He doesn't want anyone finding out his secret identity. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, a classmate walks past Mark and hands him a pink note. Before walking away, she tells him to open it when he gets home. Mark can't believe a girl that good-looking just talked to him. The surprises keep coming that morning. Derek, the kid who had a bomb vest strapped to him by the teacher, is back in class after getting the explosives removed. Unfortunately, they couldn't remove the metal casing. Now that's the only thing keeping him alive. William jokes and tells Mark that Derek owes him his life, but Mark tells him again to cut it out. He doesn't want anyone knowing his identity. When Derek walks past Mark, Mark welcomes him back. Derek's expression changes and he gives a smile in return. Mark and William are both caught off guard by Derek's change in attitude. William then asks Mark if he has plans later. Invincible tells him he has to go to the Guardian's funeral. And once again, William starts saying it out loud, putting Mark's identity at risk all over again. Then Eve shows up. She wanted to thank Mark for the night before. Things get awkward fast because Mark has a secret with Eve and a secret with William and doesn't know how to handle both of them at the same time. Later, Invincible takes on the elephant, and one solid punch is all it takes to put him down. His father shows up right after and tells him they need to get to the funeral now. The two of them head home to get ready. That's when Deborah pulls Nolan aside and asks what they're doing for Mark's birthday. Omni-Man had completely forgotten. This puts Deborah in a bad mood, but Nolan tells her that with everything going on lately, he let it slip through the cracks. Deborah didn't realize all of this had been hitting him that hard, so she apologizes. At the funeral, Savage Dragon is talking with a detective named Damien Darkblood. From a distance, he spots Samson, who has also come to pay his respects. But Damien tells him there's no problem. Samson is no longer a suspect. He never left his mansion during that time, so he's been ruled out. Savage Dragon promises Damien that if he finds anything, he'll be in touch. Then we go to Omni-Man, who delivers the farewell address for these fallen heroes. He says they've gathered here to honor the greatest group of heroes the world has ever known. He had worked with the Guardians of the Globe since he first arrived on this planet, and they were his mentors in the beginning. The Immortal, Darkwing, Green Ghost, War Woman, Red Rush, Martian Man, Aquarus. Names Omni-Man will never forget. Legends taken too soon. And then, in the crowd, Omni-Man spots two villains. They're not here to cause trouble. They've come to pay their respects to very worthy adversaries and have no intention of disrupting the ceremony. Invincible promises to keep an eye on them and asks his father to continue. Then, behind Omni-Man, a massive explosion. A villain comes flying in, furious, shouting that the Guardians of the Globe were his to deal with. Samson recognizes this villain. It's Sanford, his butler, and he's wearing the stolen armor. He can't believe the Guardians of the Globe are dead. He wanted to take revenge on them for what they did to his employer. Immediately, every hero present gets ready to stop him, but it isn't necessary because Omni-Man comes in from behind and lands a solid punch. The butler hits the ground and Samson rushes over to him, demanding to know why he did this. The two villains who came to pay their respects wonder why it took so long to stop him. Usually they get taken down much faster than that. Once the chaos dies down, Invincible has a chance to talk to Savage Dragon. He asks if all funerals go like this, and Savage tells him this is more than usual. He also mentions those two villains are planning something. Then Nolan appears and tells Invincible to hurry up, they need to get home. Right after, we travel to the Teen Team's base. Eve had come to see Robot, but when she arrives, she finds Rex with Duplicate, and she understands that from this point on, things are going to be very different. So she walks away furious, leaving Rex behind, who has no time to explain anything. Later in Mark's room, he finally has a moment to open his bag and check out the note the girl slipped him. Her name was Amber. Mark can't believe what's written on it, but his happiness is cut short when some pebbles start hitting his window. Mark goes to check who it is. It's his friend William. Mark starts telling him about the note, and William can't believe Mark's luck. But the main reason William came over was to ask Invincible for a favor. He wants Mark to take him flying. Even though Mark thinks the whole thing is pretty uncomfortable, he scoops up his best friend and takes him into the sky. At the same time, Mark's parents are in their room. Nolan says he needs to write a new book if he wants to have enough money to pay for Mark's college, but Deborah is a little worried. She's felt something different about him lately. Nolan snaps a bit and tells her his friends just died. Of course, he's going to be a little off. But that's not what she means. She feels something more than that, a distance she can't quite put her finger on. Omni-Man tells her he's fine, so Deborah lets it go. Elsewhere in the city, at the cemetery, Derek has come to visit the grave of David Hiles, the teacher who kidnapped him and turned him into a human bomb. Because of him, he now has this metal device in his chest. So he came here to get some payback. Derek starts urinating on his teacher's grave. But a few meters away, two people are watching. These two have come to the cemetery because they read online that if you drink from the skull of the immortal, you become immortal yourself. They start digging their way through when they're interrupted halfway. The villains from the funeral order them to clear out because from here on, they'll be taking care of the rest. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm Raven Comics, and see you in the next video.